Do you think that the state or the federal government in the third trimester of a pregnancy has the right to impose limitations, moral and legal right to impose limitations on an abortion? I think that's a yes or no.
I would certainly say that Roe v. Wade answered those questions. We defend and support Roe versus Wade.
Roe v. Wade has been overturned. I want your answer. Do you support restrictions by the federal or the state government on the right to an abortion in the third trimester?
And my answer is clear that if we establish Roe versus Wade, we get back to a system that gives women protection.
Do you support restrictions to the right to an abortion in the third trimester? Why are you dodging the question?
I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm telling you where I am. I am.
Tell me, do you support restrictions in the third trimester?
I have
if
personally. If
the mother's healthy and the baby's healthy.
Yeah, and Senator, let me try to make sure I answer this. Personally, as you mentioned, I've been quoted on a number of occasions before I became secretary. I support a woman's right to make a decision about her body.
But do you support restrictions in the third trimester? I just asked, why are you embarrassed to answer?
Because I believe in Roe versus Wade, and I think everyone recognizes that
Roe
law.
V. Wade?
I do.
Roe v. Wade allowed for restrictions in the third trimester.
Then you have your answer.
Do you support restrictions in the third trimester?
If Roe versus Wade is as you described it.
Why are you scared to answer the question?
I'm not afraid to answer. I'm
answering the question. Are you worried you're going to get in trouble with people, with your colleagues
no,
who support
not at all.
abortion up to the moment of birth?
Not at all.
Then why won't you answer the question?
Because, Senator, I think I've given you the answer that makes the most sense. Roe versus Wade worked for some 50 years.
Do you support restrictions in the third trimester on the right to abortion? It's real simple. You're the secretary of a department of the United States of America. Yeah. Do you support them or do you oppose them?
My answer is pretty simple. We will defend
Roe versus Wade. You don't want to answer it, do you?
I've answered.
You know why you don't want to answer? Because you and your colleagues believe that a child has no rights, even a fully developed child. You know that?
You can say that.
And
I know where I am. I will continue to defend a woman's right. Okay, let me ask you for a final time. I think this is number 5. It's not gonna make any difference, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, if you want to choose to not answer it, that's up to you.
I'm not denying anything.
Let me phrase it another way. What restrictions do you support in the third trimester to the right to an abortion? Tell me what restrictions.
If you read the Roe versus Wade decision, it'll answer your question.
Why don't you just answer it for me?
I did. Roe versus Wade established the protection.
What restrictions do you support on the right to an abortion in the third trimester? You
Roe versus Wade. Roe versus Wade.
Okay. Roe versus Wade doesn't say what restrictions. Roe versus Wade just says the state and the federal government have the right to impose restrictions. I'm asking you, what restrictions you support? For example, if the mother and the baby are healthy, and we're a week before birth, and the parents change their mind and say, we don't want a boy, we want a girl, abort the baby who happens to be a girl, would you support that right?
I know no one who would go as far as what you're indicating.
Well, then why wouldn't you say you would oppose it?
Because I'm telling you where I stand.
No,
and I have
not.
been very
You're
clear on that for a long time.
Bobbing and weaving and flip-flopping like a
Let me stand as still as you'd like. Senator, I won't move, and I'll just move my lips.
If a week before birth, baby healthy, mother healthy, would you support the right to an abortion because the parents dislike the gender of the baby? Yes or no?
Yeah, as I said, a woman should have the right
to make the decisions about her body. You won't answer my question. Would you support that?
As I said, I'm going to do everything I can to support a woman's right to make the decision.
Would you support what I just described? You're not going to answer me, are you? I don't understand why you're scared to answer me.
I'm not afraid to answer your question. I've answered it over and over.
You're scared to death to
Kennedy.
answer me. I just find that appalling. You're the secretary of the department.